Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and the place to be, it's Debsy. Boop, boop, that's me, boop, Debsy. Hey guys, happy Friday, and welcome back to my channel. Like I said, I hope everybody had a great day and a great week. If not a great day and a great week, then at least a good day and week. Typically, I'm real happy about it being Friday. Not so much today, though, because that means my vacation is over. It was very nice. It was very relaxing. I would have liked to have been able to post a nice big vlog from me and my friend Rissa meeting, but I'm pretty sure that I would have gotten a copyright from all of the music that was playing in the restaurant. So I will share some pictures from the get together on Sunday's recap video. But today we are going to be talking about the Golden Bachelor. I watched the Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise last night. So we're going to break down Gary's quest for finding a love on the Golden Bachelor. So the OG Bachelorette herself, Trista Sutter, she showed up just to talk a little bit to the ladies. She had said, listen, I'm proof that it works. I'm still together with my man. And you can't have him because he's mine. And Teresa had brought up the fact that I got the first one-on-one date and told Trista a little bit about it. You could tell that Kathy was triggered. Not surprising there. She was triggered. Trista also came by to drop off a group date card. They're going to be playing pickleball, so it is right up Ellen's alley. So on the date, it was everybody except for Leslie. So Leslie will be getting the one-on-one date. The ladies show up at the pickleball court, and listen, Joey, the next bachelor, was there. He was coaching them in pickleball, and I guarantee you, Kathy, that listen, Joey wanted no part of being your plan B if Gary wasn't your plan A. He does not want to be your plan B. I guarantee you that. So they're practicing. April falls down, Chicken Lady falls down, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay? She's over there talking to Gary, getting her one-on-one time. And she says, I'm fine. What did she say? She said something like, I'm fine. She faked it. So, listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm not even mad at that. That's, you do what you got to do. So the winning team is going to be featured in Pickleball magazine. I did not know that was a thing. So here is the teams. They were teams of two. So there was Teresa and Susan, Faith and April, Kathy and Ellen, Sandra and Nancy, and Sue. Wait, Teresa and Sue. Who is Teresa and Sue? Oh, okay. I have it written out odd. Okay, so it was Teresa and Susan, Faith and April, Kathy and Ellen, and Sandra and Nancy. So it turns out that in the finals, it was Kathy and Ellen versus Sandra and Nancy. Sandra, how about it? Sandra ends up getting a stress fracture from playing pickleball. And Sandra was missing out on her daughter's wedding was that day. She missed out on that to go to this. I don't know about that. So the winners were Kathy and Ellen. I was happy for Ellen. Meh for Kathy. Oh well. So afterwards, there was one-on-one conversations. One-on-one conversation with Sandra, and he had said, "Listen, from what I understand, your daughter is getting married today, and you were here." And he was kind of like, why? But she said her daughter had said, "Listen, I found my man, and I think you need to find yours." So what he does, I thought I thought it was adorable that they were trying to do FaceTime and they couldn't figure it out. Listen, I'm not laughing at that because there's a lot of times I can't figure out how to handle my phone, what to do on my phone. So I'm not going to say anything. I thought it was adorable. So they FaceTimed her daughter. I thought that was really sweet of him. Meanwhile, Teresa and Kathy were talking, and Teresa basically just wanted to make sure they were okay, and she wanted to kind of strengthen their relationship. I don't even know that they have a relationship, but she wanted to. Kathy just goes in on her and was like, I don't want to hear everything about what's going on with you. And you told me it was very nice that I got a rose, and oh, I'm so happy you got a rose. But then you turned around and said about how Gary came up to your bedroom and comforted you, and that word, what? But I don't need to hear this, because that's something that you might not realize it, but you're hurting my feelings when you're doing that. And I need for you just to be kind, don't kiss and tell, and think about whether this is going to be hurting someone's feelings. And I need you to stop it. Listen, the only person that's feeling like that is you, Kathy, and that's because you're jealous. You're just jealous. Teresa tries to tell her, I was not malicious. My intent was not malicious in telling you this. She kind of thought that, like, when women would go out on dates, they would come back and they would tell each other, what had gone on, so that they could just share with one another. And Kathy wanted no parts of it. She was like, what don't you understand? Here's what you need to understand. Zip it. And I can understand. Teresa was like a little hurt, a little bit taken aback. Gary then talks to all the ladies. He goes through, he talks to all the ladies, and then he talks to Teresa, and he talks to her about what had happened last night. And Teresa, like I said, Teresa told her that she thought that everyone would go on their dates and come back and share their stories of their dates. She said that she was friends with Kathy. She thought she was friends with Kathy. And Kathy early on had told her, hey, I think you could be the one. You could maybe be the one, Teresa. So she made that mistake of telling her about her date, and told her how Kathy had told her to zip it. She doesn't want to hear it, and zip it. And this did not sit well with Gary, because Gary talked to Kathy then, and he let it all out. Listen, I talked to Kathy. This is what she said. And Kathy says, well, I didn't come to fight, but she gets hurt. Her feelings are hurt when Teresa talks about their connections. And she said about how Teresa had said to me, oh, well, Gary came up to my bedroom and had comforted me, and that hurt my feelings. And he was like, listen, I comforted her because she was crying and she was upset. But I also did the same for you, because if you remember, I gave you a special rose. And so this is not something I want to hear. He basically was just saying that that this is not a good look for her. That's basically kind of what he said. He's just very upset by this rift. And meanwhile, and Kathy was also like, I'm not a villain. We're just of a certain age that we don't want to hear this. Well, listen, I can tell you right here, from that point on, right then and there, I was like, no, she's not getting a rose. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Gary hadn't have given her that special rose last week because he felt sorry for her, she wouldn't have gotten a rose last night. That's what I think. My thought the whole time was that there was more of a friendship between him and Kathy. I had never seen anything romantical or, sexy time between the two of them ever. I mean, there's no sexy time, but they to me seemed more like friends than romantical beings, romantical partners. So that's what I think. So she says, well, and Kathy said something like, well, so there we go. I'm probably not going to get a rose thanks to Teresa. I mean, well, you did that. What is somebody supposed to do? Listen, on this show, you're going to let it out. I'm just saying. You were the only one that was feeling hurt by it, probably. It was just because you were jealous. Next up was the one-on-one with Leslie. They went ATV riding. They started off and on separate ATVs, and he was in front and she was behind, and she seemed like she was a little nervous. So he kept looking back, but then he said, why don't you go ahead of me? So he had her back and he could watch, and it was very protective of him. And I thought that was really genuine. I thought that was like a real stand-up move on his part. And then she ended up getting on the back of his ATV, which I thought was what would happen anyways. And they rode along for a while. They stopped and they talked. They had a little bit of, was it champagne, or they just stopped and talked. And she said that for so many years, she'd taken different traits from different men to kind of build a perfect man. And she said that she's starting to realize that he has a lot of the traits, if not all of the traits, that she wants in a man. And he said back to her that she's a lot of the things that he wants. She's warm, she's affectionate. He likes the way that she looks at him. What was this? That she looks at him. That right there. That's a thumbnail. Probably not. So then they retire to cue it, the hot tub in a random area. So it's the hot tub. You get in the hot tub. And listen, on the Golden Bachelor, the hot tub's even better because the hot tub can be romantical, but the hot tub also helps with arthritis aches. So, hey, I would have gotten in that hot tub. But listen, how would you ever have thought? Would you ever have thought that Gary would have been tatted up? He had a tattoo on his arm. I never would have thought that. I like these two together. I thought that this week, Leslie went from being more than just the sexy dancer, just the sex pot. I like that they showed a little bit more of her. Honestly, I think if I'm calling it, I think she's going to be in the final two. Back at the mansion, they were playing Never Have I Ever. All of the ladies were except, I don't know that Teresa was there. They were playing Never Have I Ever with ice cream. Chicken Lady did a lot. April did a lot. Susan was also eating her share of ice cream. While Kathy ate hardly nothing. So she's led a pretty sheltered life. Sandra. I don't know that Sandra is making that many great choices. I mean, she missed out on her daughter's wedding, and she's eating ice cream, and she's lactose intolerant, and she's going to pay for it later by missing the rose ceremony. She had already, that's the thing, from the group, she got the group rose from the group date because she was missing her daughter's wedding. So Gary was like, we will give it to her, which hell yeah, give it to her. But she's lactose intolerant. And how in the world is Sandra 75? Sandra is 75 years old. There is no way in hell. Sandra at 75 looks better than I did at 25. So listen, I need to know what your beauty regimen is, Sandra, because You look amazing. On the day of the rose ceremony, I think it was the cocktail party, there was a one-on-one chat. He had a one-on-one chat with Susan. Susan was like, this is make or break. I have to talk to him. If I don't, I think I might be going home. And it was so heartfelt. He gave her a gift. And it was a rose quartz. It was a mineral, and it was a rose quartz. Beautiful pink rose quartz. And he gave it to her because it embodies the two qualities of empathy and strength. And those were the qualities that his wife Tony had. And she reminds him of her. It was so sweet. I don't know. We got to protect this man, Gary, at all costs. I thought that was so heartfelt and so genuine. He also went and he checked in on Sandra to see how she was doing, because she ate that ice cream and she was probably having some stomach issues. Kathy saw the rose quartz, and you can kind of tell she was a little jealous. He had a one-on-one with Ellen. Ellen said she's going to take a leap of faith. She's nervous, but she said she's falling in love with him. And it was there was a little bit of tears from Gary, because he had said that the last person that had said that to me was my wife. And he thought of Tony, and he started crying. And she said that she feels like she's met the man of her dreams. And this made Gary think, well, listen, my connection is strengthening with some of these women, and with other women, it's just not. So I'm going to have to cut the ones free that I am not strengthening a connection with. Which then Nancy comes in, and she says, I know that you're having a deeper connection with some women than others. I think I'm one of the ones that we don't have a strong connection. And he says, what did he say? He didn't say you're right. He said, he doesn't say I cannot disagree with that, but something like that. And so Nancy self-eliminated herself. I felt bad. So the rose ceremony. I picked number 1 to be called as Ellen. And that's how it went. It was Ellen, Faith, Susan, and then the last 3 it was going to be between Chicken Lady, April, Kathy, and Teresa. I called Teresa. It was Teresa. So the final 6 are Ellen, Faith, Susan, Teresa, Sandra, Leslie. And the ones that are out are April and Kathy. So it's the end of Askin, because the only one that's left out of Askin is Susan. To be honest with you, I think that the final 2 are going to be Ellen and Leslie. That's who I think. He asked if he could walk Kathy out. He walked Kathy out. He hopes she finds true love, and she wished the same for him. And then she said, but who can say, off camera, she said, who can say no to this? Well, obviously Gary can, so there we go. We are a week away from hometowns, which is insane. This went very quickly. I mean, they did not have the same number of women as they do for traditional, but we're 1 week away from hometowns. And in the previews, he's falling in love with more than just one person. So when that happens, they say, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. But they have to finish it out because they're under contract. So there we go. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Who do you think is going to be in the finals? Who do you think is going to be the next to go? I think the next to go is going to be, if we're talking about the final 4, I'm thinking it is Ellen, Faith, Ellen, Faith, Sandra. It's Ellen, Leslie, Faith, and Sandra. I think Susan and Teresa are going to be out. That's what I think. But let me know in the comments what you think. If nobody told you yet today, I love you. You are loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there. Please take care of one another. Please, when you go out, please be aware of your surroundings. Please be safe. And I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow for a recap of Bachelor in Paradise. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.